Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new series that I just came up with off the top of my head, which is kind of a crossover between myself and the awesome guys, or Angelo here, from ToonGrid. So from now on, because all podcasts have to have a name, I'm going to call this one ToonBender. So we welcome you. If you
That's wonderful, because it also sounds like drinking.
I know, right? A tune drinking. Oh, man. Well, speaking of tunes, today is one that we're both very excited about because we're going to talk about Hanna Barbera. Yes, we're going to be talking about Hanna Barbera characters you don't know about, but probably remember from your childhood that isn't Scooby-Doo.
It is a big one, though.
Yes, it is. It's like you said before we started, Scooby-Doo has become the Batman of the Hanna-Barbera universe. Like every year, you get a new Scooby-Doo animated film. Some good, some bad, and some where you just want to forget about. But there are other... I know. Oh, God. Whew. But there are some other great Hanna-Barbera characters that just don't get the love. Even though a certain company that owns Hanna-Barbera characters refuse to give them the time of day. So we're just going to go over some that we like and that we grew up with, and that's pretty much going to be it. So, Angelo, what was the first Hanna-Barbera character you got exposed to and grew up with?
I mean, like, I grew up in that era where they had a lot of, basically a lot of reruns going on. So, of course, I had tons of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Flintstones. The lamer version of the Flintstones, the Jetsons.
Yeah.
I can't believe, by the way, like, as I got older, I started to dislike the Jetsons more and more because it's like, it's the future.
Yes.
No aliens.
Yeah.
Like there's Orbity. Is that really it? Is that all we're doing? It's like, well, what else did you want? I don't see why I couldn't have alien neighbors. Well, is that like, oh, that's too far-fetched. But before that, you have Flintstones where, like, it's a living. Oh yeah, when the dinosaurs complain about like their 401k, that part,
yes,
that part is fine. We could keep that. But if we, which is weird, by the way, that's like in the Jetsons, we can't really do aliens. Look over the Flintstones. Oh, dumb. Oh, that gets an alien?
Yes, exactly.
Hell, it makes less sense. It makes less sense that Gazoo is over there.
It does. It really freaking does. And I still never understood the purposes of having Kazoo there, other because they needed something to keep them going. That's the only way I look at it.
Well, Great Gazoo is basically like Scrappy. Like Scrappy-Doo was dropped in to kind of try and give a new dynamic to the overall series and team in order to keep it going. And for Scrappy, it worked. Scrappy did actually save that franchise from essentially dying.
Yeah, he kind of did.
And the Great Gazoo is the character that most people don't like. I love him. I adore the Great Gazoo. I think he's a phenomenally fun character. I think it's weird that he's a Flintstones associated character. I think not only would he work better on Jetsons, but as a whole, if we treated the Hanna-Barbera line like its own universe, he could be the thing that connects them all together somehow.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I feel like if we were to have Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, like the Great Kazoo would kind of be the Mr. Mitzi Spitlick or the Thanos of that universe. And I think that would lead to some great things. But that's just us, you know. My favorites growing up, aside from Scooby-Doo, were the Flintstones, the Jetsons, as you mentioned, Yogi Bear, Wacky Races, Johnny Quest. Cannot forget Johnny Quest. And finally, my all-time favorite character, if you guys saw my last character breakdown series, then my favorite all-time Hanna-Barbera character is Space Ghost. I love Space Ghost. Yes,
there's a comic with him from, like, I think 2006.
Yes, I have that comic.
it's beautifully hand painted. You get to see Zorak in there, and he looks just
Yes,
horrifying.
like yes, this is the Space Ghost. This is pretty much the DC version of Space Ghost. We didn't know we wanted, but we're happy that we got it. And I loved that comic. I remember reading it all the time in the library. I never had a copy of it, but I always would pick it up from the library because I love comics.
How
and then
would you describe him, by the way?
Space Ghost or
Space Ghost? Like, how would you? Okay, say I was fresh, fresh into a comic book store. I've never heard of Space Ghost.
Okay.
How but I know who Batman and Superman are. I know about the obvious ones. But like, how would you describe Space Ghost to a person who's not really familiar with them? Because I've always seen him like he's like Superman in space, but if he was Batman.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good. Okay, how I would describe him is he's Batman, but with all of these Superman-esque powers, but he also is pretty much a Green Lantern because he goes around and he protects people from all of these alien species that want to pretty much destroy the universe. And the Batman element definitely doesn't just come from his mask and the fact that he kind of is somewhat of a detective, but also the fact that he has two sidekicks who have a pet monkey.
Well, everybody had pets in comics back in the day. Superman had a horse, a dog, a monkey,
a cat.
Plastic Man had he had a macaw that super stretched, and he had a frog that super stretched. Batman had the dog.
Yeah, he also had a gorilla.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is. So that's kind of how I would describe Space Ghost. But I would also say, if you loved if you wanted to see the awesome version of Green Lantern in live action that you never got, but you like in the comics, but if you also like Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say you would love Space Ghost because it had a lot of great space adventures, and it came out at a time where man was obsessed with space, especially going to the moon. So I think Space Ghost came out at the right time, and that's pretty much why I like him. It's like, because as a kid, I loved superheroes in space, and it always upset me that Batman could never go to space. Superman rarely ever went into space. The only one that could was the Green Lantern, but I instantly gravitated towards Space Ghost because he was a space superhero. And in my opinion, as a kid, space superheroes were cool.
Oh yeah, man, dude, Adam Strange,
yes,
Flash Gordon,
oh my god,
Buck Rogers.
Yes, all of those were amazing. I really did like that. So that's why Space Ghost holds a special place in my heart. And it sucks because Space Ghost actually at a time was the third Hanna Barbera character that became a mainstream household name, and then he eventually has, like Johnny Quest and the others before him, he's just faded away into obscurity, which kind of sucks.
That's weird because Johnny Quest, every once in a while, they bring Johnny back. I don't know. I wonder if now it's a racial sensitivity thing because it's like he's got like Haji, but even it's like Haji wasn't like a slave. Haji was just his friend.
No. Yes, he was. He was just his friend. I don't see what the problem with that.
I'd say if anything, Haji was actually more groundbreaking because he was an Indian character in an era where you kind of go back and think about it. It's like, how many character of different ethnicity can you really think of back in those really old cartoons?
Not very much, especially when it came to the human ones, like the Flintstones. There was literally no diversity or ethnicity there.
I was thinking about that the other day, where I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a black person in like original, like old school, back in the day Flintstones, where it's like, was there ever even like a black caveman at any point during that run? And you think about it.
And even the Jetsons, you would assume, because it's the future and, everyone's culturally connected, still no African-American, no other ethnicities other than whites. And I'm like...
Rich, they weren't even getting aliens in that run. We're like the fact they couldn't get aliens, the fact that it's like, well, we couldn't have aliens. They could have at least given us like some Hispanic people, some African American people, just
anything.
anything. It's like the future is white. Oh,
yes, exactly. And then I feel like Johnny Quest, like he said, was groundbreaking in that area because it's like, okay, it's essentially three Caucasians and an Indian. That's perfect because at least now you have some ethnicity there, and that's great. I like that. And then Space Ghost. Oh, it's a boy and it's a girl and it's a monkey. So you have even more ethnicity because,
and they're aliens.
Yes, exactly. There are aliens that are female and male, and I like that.
So, I mean, like
yeah.
Space Ghost isn't even like Caucasian in that like he's a white American. He was an alien that happened. It's like Superman.
Yeah, he's pretty much an alien space marine, a cop. That's pretty much all he is. So it's kind of cool that we got some great ethnicity. And then, of course, as we said, Scooby-Doo kind of took advantage of that by adding 2 girls, 2 guys, and a dog. Which, wow, it's crazy how the ethnicity scale kept growing.
And then they replicated that formula forever because then they made like the weird Chinese version.
Oh yeah, they did. Speaking of that formula, since we can't talk about Scooby-Doo too much, what we can do is talk about the reject Scooby-Doo characters that everybody knows about. So like Jibberjaw, Speed Buggy,
Jabberjaw,
yes.
Who had the greatest reference of? Does anyone remember the Three Stooges? I mean, I did growing up, but why is the shark? Why is the shark talk like Curly? Like, I would love to because like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they've had like these amazing videos where like they show you like how things came to be. I just watched a video about the origin of how He-Man got Battle Cat.
Yeah.
And it was like the most disappointing, apathetic origin.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I thought like thought went into this where it's like, yeah, like he's a warrior, like a barbarian. He rides a giant battle cat like the size of a horse. No, it turns out they just had some toys left over from like another set. And basically one of the guys walked in and he says, make that his steed. And one guy said, it's a little big, isn't it? It's not up to scale. And the other guy just goes, I don't care. And then he came back like a week later and like the tiger was painted green and yellow. And then he said, throw a saddle on it. I don't care. Make it happen. And that's how Battle Cat happened. It was the most apathetic, I have no fucks to give.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like you like to think where it's like, there must have been like a think tank of individuals coming up with creative ideas. I don't give a shit. Just do the thing. I'm done.
And that sums up the Scooby-Doo rejects in a nutshell.
So they have a talking dog. What does this one have?
Talking shark.
Kids like sharks. Talking shark. What should the shark sound like? Like the dog got a speech impediment. What can the shark sound like? I don't know. I mean, I was watching Three Stooges. Like that's right. He's gonna sound like Curly Joe.
What about this next one? What do kids like now? They like race cars. Good. Have the race car. Have their pet be a race car. But how are we gonna make him sound different? Give him a speech impediment and just have him make these weird noises. Like,
So it's a jalopy? Yeah, it's like my piece of shit car in the parking lot. Make it like that.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, sir, we have another one. Okay, what are these? Josie and the Pussycats. Okay, what are they about? I don't know. We were make them sing music. Okay, we'll do that.
It's
okay,
like them, but they solve mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about this last one? This is a big one. Okay, hear me out. What if we had teenage girls solving mysteries? That does okay. It needs something. It's like, oh, I got it. Throw a caveman in there. Wait, what? A caveman? Why? Because we have a shark, a car, a dog, and
kids like the Flintstones, but we can't move the Flintstones out of the modern Stone Age. So what do? We take a caveman and we make him a crime fighter with the Billy Club that has all sorts of gizmos, like the Batsman.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think we should start off on any of the ideas. Man, this Chinese food's pretty good. That's it. We'll have a team of Chinese kids that solve mysteries. The fuck is happening right now?
Yes, we're not making these up, people.
No, I wasn't called something like I think it was called the Chan Clan. God, it sounds so racist.
Yes. I remember the Chan Clan. This is the most obscure Scooby-Doo knockoff team you've ever heard of. They're so obscure they barely lasted at all, and they made a comeback in one of the Hanna-Barbera parody shows, Harvey Birdman. That's how obscure these guys are.
Harvey Birdman is how I learned about a lot of these characters I totally forgot about. Like, I actually really totally forgot about, was it X the Eliminator?
Yes.
Until he shows up on that show and he's like really fat and voiced by Peter McNichol.
Yes.
it was, I was just like, I swear I remember this from like when I was a kid, but I must be remembering something else. And then like I started watching it, I'm like, wait a minute. And then I ended up looking it up and I'm like, oh, X really let himself go. He got like really fat.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, these characters, some of them were good gimmicks. Some of them were just like, what the fuck? They didn't even put any effort into these.
Well, I mean, the amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. Jesus,
I know,
God, and that was the 70s too. So like, that's still that acceptable back then.
Yes, how that was acceptable, how that went by. It's crazy. And again, still to this day, I think Warner Brothers hated the Chan Clan because they never used them again. They're the one Scooby-Doo ripoff team that never got mentioned again because of how considerably at the time, I think they were lucky they got away with it. But nowadays, that would not fly.
I mean, I'm sure there's that one Tumblr poster where it's like, why haven't the Chan Clan got a reboot? You have a problem with Chinese representation? And it's like, don't do this.
No, please.
This is not the hill you want to die on. Not for the freaking Chan Clan.
No.
You know what I would like back actually with this modern day? I did see Captain Planet get a reboot.
Yes. Okay. And for somebody who says, but Captain Planet isn't Hanna-Barbera. Yes, he is. He was a part of the Hanna-Barbera lineup before Cartoon Network came into the picture. So technically, there isn't a technically. He is a Hanna-Barbera character. And
he was under the branch. Technically speaking, Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Lab, a lot of the cartoons are all Hanna-Barbera properties.
So, yes, Powerpuff Girls and Aqua Teen Hunger Force are also Hanna-Barbera characters, too. So that's crazy. Yeah, that too. I would love to see a Captain Planet reboot. Like, I'm a huge fan. That was the most embarrassing thing to go around telling people that I like Captain Planet, and they would look at me like, why the hell do you... Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's cool, you know? I mean, he makes jokes.
He's like a mildly lamer Swamp Thing. Like, because he's an elemental, but he's all the elements, so he's uber powerful.
Yes, he's the most overpowered cartoon character of all time, and yet he has some charm to him. He makes jokes and everything, and he tells us how we could protect the planet and everything.
Well, like, if you made his show aware, like, okay, if you made it the same way you did back then, it'd probably just be laughed at. But if you made it with the same awareness as like Batman Brave and the Bold,
oh yeah,
it'd become endearing.
Oh, yes, I completely agree. Like, that was why I was so excited. Everybody can attest to this. I was so excited when Ian Q. Jones brought Captain Planet and back to for that one episode of OKKO. It was awesome. It
was so cool to see him. And then we had that really hot chick was back.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
Light?
Yeah. Damn it, I cannot remember their names. Like, I only remember, Wheeler, Matee, let me see.
Think Element, and then the name will probably come.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, Wheeler, Matee, Fire, Heart, Linka, there we go, Wind, Earth. Damn it! This is gonna. Okay,
that should be the easiest one to remember. That's Kwame.
Yes, Kwame. Damn it!
Because he was like the most badass member of the team.
He really was. He was the best.
Kwame's who we all really wanted to be. Wheeler's who we all were.
Oh God, I hated that. Like the one American representative, and he was
a jackass.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm like, man, this is insulting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, jeez, that was horrible. But I loved Captain Planet. I've been dying for him to come back in some way or another. But I really think
a Dexter's Lab reboot.
Oh God,
Like,
yes.
I want something in the same vein as like kind of like Steven Universe, where
Yes.
it's funny, but it's also very heartfelt. I want to explore more the dynamic between like Dexter and his relationship to his sister and his parents.
Yes.
I'd rather explore that more because like we had a fun episodic, adventure series with him where it was just funny, slapsticky comedy, and that was great. But I would like to try something different. I would love to do that with Dexter's Lab. One show for the longest time I've wanted, because especially now, because you and I've said this, where it's like we are at such a height of superhero phenomena.
Yes.
Where it's like, it's weird because Disney owns Marvel and they've barely scratched the surface of that catalog of superheroes they actually have.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Warner Brothers is like, well, we have DC. Yeah, but you guys could do a spin-off show for like the Justice Friends. You could have Major Glory and the Infraggable Kronk and Valhalla and Viking God of Rock. That could be its own series of its own superhero show.
Yes.
You could give Space Ghost his own show. Mytor could be his own show.
Yes, and the Herculoids. Come
on. The Herculoids.
Yes.
And I it would be nice to get a Thundercats that didn't get canceled after a season.
Oh my God, I know.
Because that started off where it's like, first, like, man, that opening two-parter is fantastic. And then it just meanders, and then it just died. And you're just like, what happened?
I know, yeah, it is. It sucks. It's like, what the hell?
Now there's like the whole fiasco with She-Ra, which apparently is separate now.
From the He-Man universe. Yeah, I know.
But could we then get a good He-Man show?
I don't know, maybe. Well, I mean, I feel like the 2003 one is best left alone.
Oh, the 2002 show is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it would hurt to have like. I feel like at this point, the only way you're going to get me to continue to watch She-Ra, I stuck it out for a season, man. I did, and I'm like, man, the only way I'm coming back to this is if there's an announcement, we're bringing He-Man back. It's the only way I think I could jump onto season 2 because I couldn't stand most of what was happening, either in show or just the political fiasco.
Fair enough, yeah.
That followed around it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. One Hanna-Barbera reboot I've always wanted, even though they tried to get it continued, there's still no word on it, but I have been dying for a SWAT Cats reboot for God knows how long, and still nothing. The creators tried, but we still haven't heard anything. They're still shopping the idea.
I've never seen SWAT Cats.
Really? Oh my, okay. Okay, think Batman the Animated Series and Thundercats if they were just cats, and think of the most 90s hardcore rock and roll you could ever hear.
I do recall, I believe, Charlie Adler.
Yes,
was the big one.
Yes, he was. It was great. It literally looked like a 90s album cover. That's the best way I can sum up Thundercats. Like, if you guys love that style of epic and hardcore testosterone animation and fighter jets and everything, you're going to love it. It's pretty much, it was their equivalent to the Ninja Turtles, but except it was cats.
And only two, right? Like the SWAT Cats were only two guys.
Yeah, they were two brothers, and they ran a mechanic shop, but then they were also vigilant. Yeah, but then they were vigilant. They were also ex-pilots because they got kicked out of the military. I can't remember why, but
that's kind of hardcore for like a Ninja Turtle knockoff. Like like going back to the Ninja Turtle knockoffs, it's like 4 surfers become sharks.
Yes. Oh God.
Come on, man. They were awesome.
I know. Yeah, and then it's like, oh my God! I think somebody had to have been a fan of fighter jets because that's the main vehicle, that's the main selling point of the show is their jet and all of the things it can do. Like,
does it turn into stuff?
Yeah, it kind of does. It has all these different types of missiles and guns and everything. It has.
I just love the idea. We have all sorts of missiles. What do these do? Well, that blows shit up. Oh,
Yeah,
well, what do
exactly.
those do? Well, those blow shit up. Okay, but what about those over there? Oh, those put out fires, yeah? By blowing it the shit up. I don't think there's much diversity you could get out of what a missile can do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, they found a way. They found a way to have some pretty decent, diverse missiles, but it's still
I
good.
figure it works in the same rules as like when you meet Green Arrow. It's like Green Arrow
Yeah,
has boxing glove arrows and net arrows, foam
yeah,
arrows, and then like the TV show on the CW comes out, he's got arrows that shoot people through the leg and in the
yeah.
back and in the chest. What about like
It's
trick arrows? What?
yeah,
The thing he's famous for, because it's like his Batman thing. No, Batman throws knives at people. No, he doesn't, or he shouldn't.
yeah.
I'll tell you, dude, Rich, you want a show that they need to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
And this character would be perfect now more than ever with the height of technology.
Okay.
Freakazoid.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely, yes.
With the
And again,
internet where it is.
yeah, I've said this for the longest time. And back in my Freakazoid review, I literally was open to the idea of Freakazoid getting a reboot, even though technically speaking, the show was ahead of its fucking time because it was. It is crazy how much of the internet Freakazoid kind of predicted that we would be in this age, and like it also predicted that superheroes, all different types of superheroes, would be out fighting crime. And I'm like, oh my God, this was like that. Yes, this. And I have, and I'm upset that Freakazoid did not get renewed for a third season. That is still a travesty to me. So yes, I would be open to Freakazoid getting. I mean, come on, the Animaniacs are getting a reboot next year. Why can't Freakazoid? Like that makes sense to me. I'd be up for it.
I liked Freakazoid more.
I know, yeah, Freakazoid. I love Freakazoid more. Like
what great. First off, even in terms of just being a goofy superhero show, because it was like Steven Spielberg wanted something very much in the same vein as Animaniacs. He didn't want I wanted a standard superhero show out of it.
Yeah.
He wanted just the Animaniacs kind of approach. I would like to see how it could be done as a superhero, like full throttle superhero show.
Yeah, no. Well, I would, if they did decide to do a reboot of it. My idea was just to get the original creators to come back, if it's possible, to just have Bruce Timm and Paul Dini come and be the showrunners for it. I think if you had them, because that's what they originally wanted. Like if you guys remember the Creeper from Batman the Animated Series, that's how they wanted Freakazoid to be. They wanted him to be like that, but Steven Spielberg was like, "No, I don't think so. I
don't want this character to be fun and endearing like the Creeper. I want him to be wacky and crazy," which is, to be fair, still very endearing.
Yes, he is, but I'm just like, it makes you think. Like, if Freakazoid had a reboot today, I would be all for it being kind of this.
His power would all be memes.
Yes, exactly. I would be so okay with it being this adult style superhero show. So I wouldn't mind it. If you got Bruce Timm back, you would have to get Paul Rudd back because there's nobody who can do Freakazoid's voice. Paul Rudd.
I'd want most of the cast. Honestly, like I think I'd try to go above and beyond and be like, maybe recast some of them, but you need David Warner.
No, well, nobody can
as the Loeb.
I know. Well, nobody could replace him.
Corey Burton could do a close proximity, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for me, just bring back Paul Rudd and Ed Asner as Cosgrove and Freakazoid, and that's it. You're good. You can recast his girlfriend Stephanie. You can. I would be okay if you brought Tress MacNeille back as his mom, because God no, please do not give it to Tara Strong. Just please don't.
Just his mom is so fun. Have a good time now. Like they cut back to that clip in episodes where it has nothing to do with what's happening. They just like
yes, absolutely yes. I completely agree with you.
I don't even know. Like if I did bring in Tara Strong, I'd maybe cast her as Cobra Queen.
That would actually make sense.
Because she could play seductive really well. Because she was Poison Ivy in the TMNT Batman crossover.
Yeah, she's been doing a good job as Poison Ivy in these past couple of years. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Well, okay. So there is one thing that I do want to talk about, and this is the thing that I think made Hanna Barbera launch off as they were merging with Warner Brothers back in the early 2000s, and that was the Hanna-Barbera adult shows, which started with Space Ghost and ended with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Although it still does go on with Venture Brothers. If you guys know Venture Brothers, it's pretty much nothing more than a salute to those 60s Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of everything now. Like they've integrated God, that show started somewhere so different.
Yes.
Than where it ended up.
I know, exactly. And of course, you can even throw Mike Tyson's Mysteries in there because I thought it was canceled, but no, it's still going, so that's cool. But yeah, so
it's a mystery.
Yes. Shut up, guy. Just like that song. Ain't got no time for bird sex. Gotta fly.
Oh god, and that was the pigeon's voiced by what's his name?
Yeah. Shit. I can't.
I wanted to say like Malcolm McDowell. I'm like, that's not right.
No.
Norm McDonald.
Yeah, there you go.
Malcolm McDowell. That's not right. That's not proper casting.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, so what did you think of some of the Hanna-Barbera adult shows from the early 2000s?
I really didn't care for Space Ghost Coast to Coast, not because it was bad.
Blasphemy. I'm kidding.
Man, look, if I want to watch Space Ghost, I want to watch Space Ghost going out and like fighting space crime. I don't want him like talking to celebs. That's
true. Okay, it was difficult. I was the same way.
You know how weird it was because I saw it backwards? Because I saw Space Ghost and like, wait, Zorak's a bad guy? Wait, Brack's a bad guy? Wait, Moltar's a bad guy? Well, why the hell do they work with him on like a TV show then?
Yeah, exactly. That's something that took me a while to accept as a kid too, but I grew with it more. And to see that, technically, Space Ghost Coast to Coast was my first ever adult show that had curse words, that had all these adult shenanigans, and it's crazy that is what got me exposed to adult entertainment. It's crazy, I know.
I mean, there's like Cool World existed.
That's true. I mean, okay, yeah, Space Ghost. Okay, I always tell people, because for those people who would want to give the show a chance, I would just tell them, okay, you need to be prepared because this is not your Rick and Morty. This is not your Family Guy. This is a talk show, sophisticated comedy. Like, some of the jokes you won't laugh at, and some of them maybe you'll get a chuckle out of, but it's a different type of humor that I don't think you would either enjoy or maybe you would enjoy it.
It's dry.
Yeah, exactly. It's dry wit. It's nothing but dry humor. And somehow, with the success of Space Ghost, it led to Cartoon Network saying, maybe we can do more other Hanna-Barbera Adult Swim shows. What do we got? Well, we got C-Lab, Harvey Birdman. We've got what else we got?
Harvey Birdman, C-Lab.
Yeah, C-Lab.
Incidentally or indirectly, years later, Samurai Jack came back.
That's true.
And he was under the Hanna-Barbera brand originally.
Yeah, that's true. So you could throw Samurai Jack under there. Then of course you have the Brack Show.
That's a weird choice for a spinoff. I mean, Zorak, I could understand at least because he's like, to me, Zorak's like Space Ghost, like Joker. That's like his.
He really is.
Because
Brack is just weird.
Brack's even weird by Space Ghost standards because it's like Moltar's like the Molten Men. Okay, yeah, Fire Planet, sure, I could buy that. Space Mantis, yeah, sure, okay, I could buy that. Space Tiki, well, now you're just being ridiculous. Let's if you're not gonna take this seriously, I'm just gonna take my business elsewhere. Yes.
I completely agree. Yeah. No, I enjoyed some of these. I think, that's the thing, because I had different taste in comedy when I was a kid. So the ones that I would watch relentlessly, aside from Space Ghost, was C-Lab 2021 and Harvey Birdman, because I liked those two shows. And even though, and Harvey Birdman, believe it or not, was the only show that didn't use recycled animation from the older shows, because that's actually how those animated shows were made. Because they didn't have the budget to kind of come up with new animation cells, they just reused the old ones.
Oh yeah, it's almost a practice they kind of use even nowadays, because when they did the new Voltron,
yes,
like every episode, man, Form Voltron. And there it is. There it goes. Recycling that beautiful animation.
Yes, absolutely. So I think Harvey Birdman was nothing more than a Hanna-Barbera just fan fest, because it had every Hanna-Barbera obscure character always showing up to either sue or try and get Harvey as a lawyer, and I liked that, like especially the Yogi Bear episode, which I loved. So yeah, those were some great shows. And then of course you have the Venture Brothers, which I'm pretty sure most of you would know.
Yeah, it does surface every couple of years.
Yeah.
It has. Look, I love the show, and I'm glad that they take their time to make it a quality show. I hate the wait time, though. Like, dude, almost every time a season finishes, I'm just sitting in the back of my head. Is it canceled? Did they finally cancel it this time? And it's like, no, we didn't cancel it. We're just on a hiatus to get it done. It's been like 2 or 3 years, though.
Yeah. And these guys make Steven Universe's hiatus look like a week-long hiatus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Well, like Steven Universe gives you, I think, a bigger bang for your buck, because when it comes back, it gives you a longer season and
That's true.
A higher animation quality.
That's true. That's true. There's also Mike Tyson Mysteries, which, okay, like, for those of you that don't know, this was common back in the 80s. This was a classic 80s trope. Give every popular actor or celebrity their own show.
Didn't Hulk Hogan have one?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan had one. Mr. T had one.
Yeah.
Like a
Chuck
lot
Norris?
of... Yes, Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos. Yes, I remember that.
You know, for the longest time, I thought the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan was a Jackie Chan.
No, but
And
thankfully but we would eventually get a Jackie Chan show, so thank God.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of like the happy accident, though, because it's like, you know, the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. Awesome, I get a cartoon about Jackie Chan. This is Charlie Chan. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So who the fuck is Charlie Chan?
Yeah. Okay. For those of you who haven't seen Mike Tyson's Mysteries, I'll be covering it real soon, but here's the best way I can describe it. Imagine Scooby-Doo, but with Mike Tyson. That's the best way I can sum it up.
That was another one we forgot to mention in the long list of terrible knockoffs. Funky Phantom.
Oh my God, that's right.
because Mike's got Makith. He's got the Marquis of something. And he's voiced by the guy who plays Gyro Gearloose.
Oh my God.
On the current DuckTales. He was the dean in Community.
Oh my God.
Oh no, that guy gets around because like he was in Civil War.
Yeah.
Because the guys who directed that were the two dudes who worked on Community, because it was the Russos.
God. Yeah.
The Dean's actor shows up in Civil War as a cameo, as a guy that runs, I guess, some kind of college where like Tony Stark was giving out like grants.
Yeah.
Then he goes over and he's on, because that's a Disney production, he shows up on DuckTales and he's Gyro Gearloose and he plays Gyros as a like sociopathic scientist.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's Makith on Mike Tyson Mysteries.
I know, that's so weird. That is so actually, yeah, that's exactly who as soon as I saw him, like, is he based off of the Funky Phantom? And yes, that is another Scooby-Doo ripoff we forgot to mention. Yes, I am dead serious. A Scooby-Doo ripoff game. If you thought having a talking dog, a car, a caveman, a shark, and
Chinese kids.
Yeah, 3 Chinese kids was weird. Funky Phantom tops them all because it's literally a ghost. A Civil War ghost, to be exact.
I kind of wish if they use that nowadays, they should play up the racism.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where it's like he sees like a black person and he's like, land sakes in the ocean. What the hell happened? It's like, oh, the South lost. He's like freaking the hell out.
Yes. Except he'd be saying it all feminine. Like he's like, Lord have mercy. Where did they go? We lost the war.
Why did Funky Phantom sound a lot like Snagglepuss? Is anyone guess?
maybe okay. I've always had a theory, but maybe Snagglepuss was Funky Phantom's pet. That's the only way I can think of it.
So wait. So like, a guy at one point had like I presume a pink panther. I don't know. What was Snagglepuss? I know he was like a feline, but like, was he like a panther?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was a panther.
Incidentally, he was a pink one.
Yes.
Oh no, he was a mountain lion.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Not that you could tell. I mean,
no, you really can't tell.
No. Shit. Is Tom and Jerry Hanna
Actually,
Barbera?
Yes, it is actually.
It's like that, it'd be nice if they got a comeback.
Yeah, well, they are coming back. They're coming back. Well, I would hold that yay because they are coming back for a live action animated hybrid next year.
Are they going to be animated?
Yes, they are thankfully going to be animated.
Are they going to be CGI?
No, 2D hand-drawn animation.
Oh, what's the point of it being mixed then?
I have no idea. And
okay.
the antagonist is going to be Michael Pena from the 2 Ant-Man movies. So if you didn't like Michael Pena,
he was in A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, that I should have said that too.
I think he was which by the way, like looking at A Wrinkle in Time, I was like, this seems like a bad ripoff of It.
Oh God.
Like the monster kind of felt like a lame Pennywise.
I know, yeah.
And then it's Michael Pena. It's like, that's weird. Fast talking Mexican like Pennywise should be hilarious.
Yeah, it should.
They should open up like chapter 2 of It, where like Michael Pena is doing the Ant-Man bit.
Yeah,
man, there's these kids, right? And this kid's like, for real? And it's like, there's a clown in the sewer. There's a clown in the sewer, man. For real, there's a clown in the sewer. Bit the kid's arm off, dude. He bit the kid's arm off, and it just goes like that for like 5 minutes.
Yes, I would love like that'd be even crazier at the end of Tom and Jerry. It's like, so dude, guess what? You know the security job I got? Well, apparently this cat and this mice, but they look kind of weird, right? Like they weren't from our world or anything. And then they bit me, and I was trying to chase them because I don't like cats and mice because I'm allergic to them.
I would watch that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I have more of an investment now watching it if it's the same character from Ant-Man than it would be. We just got Michael Pena.
If it's if it doesn't have the same character, that's gonna take a point off. I'm like, it's not the same character. I'm excited to see Tom and Jerry in a live action hybrid. I'm just like, okay, please, for the love of God, just make it good. Wait a minute. So that just this is unrelated, but that means we're getting 2 live action animated hybrid movies next year: Sonic the Hedgehog and Tom and Jerry, and then eventually Space Jam 2.
I mean, they both look terrible. Well, I don't know about Tom and Jerry. Maybe it'll be better. Sonic looks terrible though. That's for certain.
Yeah, that's true. So here's hoping. But yeah, Tom and Jerry. Oh my God, thank you for reminding me. They were also my 3rd favorite Hanna-Barbera. Like, okay, I'm about to make a bold statement, but I think, in my personal opinion, Tom and Jerry was more funnier than Looney Tunes.
I reject that statement. I reject that statement and everything it stands for, because the Looney Tunes had a wonderful assortment of characters that you could enjoy.
Yeah, okay. That is something that we'll get into. Like, there's no doubt. The Looney Tunes has a better assortment of characters than Tom and Jerry. And yes, the Looney Tunes show was the best goddamn was the best new rendition since Duck Dodgers. So I will give them that. And
I will give you this for Tom and Jerry though. They sold the art of slapstick.
Yes,
better. And I think it simply came down to the fact that it's like, when Tom was in pain, that cat was in some serious anguish.
I know. Yes, I feel like Tom and I don't know. And is it crazy that Tom and Jerry actually won Oscars? Like, seriously, they're Oscar award characters. Like,
so of course the studio that owns them like hates them and does nothing.
Yeah, they just put out a new shitty adaptation. Oh my God, I remember we got in the way we have Scooby-Doo movies now, there were a bunch of Tom and Jerry movies coming out. There was the Fast and the Furious. Get it? Because, you know, Furious. I'm sorry, Furious. Because furry, and it's basically Tom and Jerry and other characters driving around the world.
I swear to God, they did the same thing for when the Sonic movie was coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't this funny? I just think every time you make a pun that bad, you should, like, legally, someone should be allowed to give you one punch in the throat.
I agree. Yes, like it was some of those animated Tom. Okay, like and that even brings me because I know everybody remembers the one particular theatrical Tom and Jerry movie that came out in theaters, and it had them talk.
You know what?
And
It's still not as bad as everything that came after.
no, no, it actually isn't. Like I will take them talking, but then of course that confused kids because like, well, wait, if they talk, then why do they stay silent? Because their contract demands it. That's why.
Well, I did like the one line they said where Tom's like, if you could talk this whole time, why didn't you say anything after all the years we've been through all this? And Cherry just says, I never had something of importance to say, and I guess I still don't. And I'm just like, that's kind of funny.
It is, yes, exactly. And so yeah, oh man, like Tom and Jerry was awesome. Like they were one of the awesomest Hanna Barbera characters. It just sucks now that Boomerang is treating their show like crap. It's
Boomerang
not even that
treats
fun.
everything.
Like yeah, and it sucks that oh god, that the Willy Wonka and the Tom and Jerry movie. Who the
I
hell
love it.
thought that was? Okay, well at least somebody.
I mean, it's such a it's like 11 9/11s happening simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so fucking bad. Like you can watch that and it's like here's a scene we're gonna animate. I guess we gave it to like 50 people at once.
Yeah, I guess
because
so.
I swear to God, from cell to cell, it's like each shot. This is a different studio.
I think Warner Brothers, the fact that Warner Brothers gave more studios more money to do that speaks volumes about their other, like they never would do that with DC or Scooby-Doo because they keep it to one consistent studio. So for Tom and Jerry, it's like, well, it's Willy Wonka and Tom and Jerry. I don't think one studio can handle it, so let's just give it to any studio that we have under our contracts.
I don't think one studio can handle it, so we should give it to every studio, and Nobody knew what they were doing.
There's
so many weird
faces
throughout there's a great shot where you just see Wonka and you're like, well, that's a pedophile.
Yeah, yes, like, exactly.
That's the only way to describe it. Where the moment you see it, you're just like, well, that's a pedophile. Shrug.
I know, and I hate how the Willy Wonka characters look because it's like, okay, the animation, it's like the animators couldn't decide, or maybe Warner Brothers just didn't give a shit. It's like, should we make them look more like their original actors, or should we just put more cartoony expressions on? But we don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. So we get this weird hybrid.
Let's meet you in the middle. They'll look vaguely like the things you remember, but different enough so we don't have to pay any likeness fees to anyone. Gene Wilder's dead. Well, then that doesn't matter. He can look like whatever the fuck you want because we don't have to pay him because he's a corpse.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that'd still be funny. They would have to pay. They have to go to his grave and give him the money.
Just throw like a wad of bills on top of it. It's there you go, you old sod.
Yeah, here you go. Celebrate. Cash it well. Yeah, exactly.
Gene Wilder's hand comes out of the grave, grabs the wad, and just pulls it down into the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yes. Don't even get me started. Okay, I kind of like Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz. I kind of, but once again, it just but I wondered what was Warner Brothers thinking. Okay, well, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz did well. Let's make a sequel. Wait, what? A sequel?
Hey, you remember that sequel to Wizard of Oz? What sequel to Wizard of Oz? You know, the iconic sequel. Are you referring to that really fucked up like horror movie with the Gnome King? No. The Headless Witch? No, I'm not talking about that. I just mean, do you remember that sequel? Wink, wink.
Oh God.
Yeah, okay. That's what it feels like. Where it's like if you ever saw. Okay, have you ever seen Charlotte's Web?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
There's like that boardroom meeting. Hey, does anyone remember that awesome open ending to Charlotte's Web? Didn't really have an open ending. Like it's just like the pigs settled down, had the 3 spiders. It was the end, and it was pretty. Well, what if we learned about their story? I don't think we need to do that, don't we? No. Oh, well, we made it anyways.
I know, exactly.
And I can't even remember if Tara Strong was one of the spiders or not.
Oh, dear God.
Hey, she's a hardworking actress. She will not say no to a role.
No, she won't.
You guys want to make a Ben 10 show again? I guess. And it'll have me as Ben. Yes, that iconic character, apparently, that existed. G. Willikers voices it. This is terrible.
put it out anyway.
Who gives a shit? Look, we saved a lot of money cutting corners on that Willy Wonka Tom and Jerry movie.
Oh my God. They like, how? Like, again, it's like, how? It's like Tom and Jerry. What was okay? I would accept a Tom and Jerry crossing over with a specific movie if it was Tom and Jerry crosses over with The Godfather. If you make Tom and Jerry and The Godfather cross over, I'll watch.
Great, because like The Godfather could say something, and Tom's just like, Tom just finally talks, and he just goes, "What the fuck is he saying?"
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you come to me, Cat, on the day of my daughter's wedding, and you want me to kill a mouse. Why should I do this for you?
See, every time I think of Godfather, I just think of Animaniacs. I just think of the good pigeons.
Yes, it's like the God pigeon says, if you're gonna sell out, make sure you sell out to the right people. And of course, I so love the Zootopia bit. It's like, and how did you repay my generosity? With a skunk. Skunk butt. I buried my grandmama in that skunk.
I invite you to my house. You have some of my grandma's cannoli. And you're just like, well, I want to know where this is going. I'm genuinely concerned, wondering where this is going to end up.
Boys, ice them.
I think if we're gonna like talk about like bringing Hanna-Barbera back to the foreground, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should start with Johnny Quest.
Yeah, okay. It's funny you mentioned that because next week, Johnny Quest is finally being remastered and released on Blu-ray, 1080p. The first series.
Okay, the original. So not the darker one that they did like in I think the 2000s.
Yeah, although that was a good series. And it's going to be uncensored and uncut. So I'm looking forward to it. So yes, my father is a huge Johnny Quest fan. He and I would watch Johnny Quest a lot. And he personally didn't like the 90s one, but I kind of did because I'm like, it
was made for us.
It was made for our generation. And it really sucks. You know, I feel like Johnny Quest was at the height of his popularity. And then he just fell away into obscurity. And still to this day, it's like the closest he ever got to a comeback was a couple cameos, was a cameo and an appearance in Harvey Birdman and the Venture Brothers. And then finally in Future Quest, which essentially was the Infinity War of all of the action Hanna-Barbera characters coming together.
Yeah, that was it. It was like Johnny, Space Ghost, the Herculoids.
Yes, the Herculoids. Frankenstein Jr.
Who gets no credit.
I know, right? The new Harvey Birdman, because the old one died, I think.
I guess he's just Birdman then?
Yeah, he's just Birdman.
Yeah. The Mighty Mightor.
Yes. Oh my God.
The Impossibles. That's another team that nobody ever talks about, is the freaking Impossibles.
I know, what the hell's wrong with this world? Like, so many great action. Like,
wasn't Frankenstein Jr. like a kid in his mech?
I think or maybe, I don't know. I need to rewatch Frankenstein Jr.
Because like I think the comic they did, because there was a Hanna-Barbera over, because DC owns that. Well, Warner Brothers owns DC, owns Hanna-Barbera. Through DC, they made a line called Hanna-Barbera Beyond.
Yes.
And the best way they described it was a remake of most of the studio's comedic characters to adapt them to a darker, edgier setting.
Yes, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the remake comics. We already talked about Future Quest, but there was a Flintstones comic, only lasted 2 volumes.
12 issues and then got canceled.
Yeah, this fucking sucks. And then there was Wacky Races, but in the style of Mad Max. So imagine Mad Max. If you saw Mad Max Fury Road, imagine that, but with the Wacky Races. Imagine that. Like, it's epic. And then after that,
it's not even like races at that point. It's just like the apocalypse with cars.
Exactly. It's awesome. And then you had the one we all like to forget about. I know there are fans of it, but I still don't like it. And that is Scooby-Doo Apocalypse.
I felt like it suffered from a severe case of try too hard.
Oh, it really tried too hard. It's
it wants you to like this isn't your dad's Scooby-Doo. This is a cool Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so far removed. Why is it even Scooby? Actually,
I know.
Rereading it, is it just me? But rereading it, it's totally the plot from like Resident Evil.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminded me of. This is essentially a ripoff of Resident Evil and The Walking Dead. That's what this is. And it tries way too hard to make the Scooby characters, the iconic ones that we've grown up with, very edgy. Like Shaggy, he's a guy with tattoos who looks like Green Arrow. He literally looks like Oliver Queen. Why? We don't know. Velma is a scientist who is the cause of this whole thing. Daphne is a camera reporter, and Fred is her assistant. And finally,
and Fred's just happy to be involved.
I know. And Scooby-Doo is a genetic mutt with cybernetic enhancements on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and also the Scooby-Doo's take on Daphne is to make her as much of an asshole as possible.
That seems to be the standard for how companies like, how do you write a strong woman? Well, write a strong woman's like how you write a strong male character. You just write a character that is strong and defined through a good personality, has some flaws, but learns to overcome. So, like, if she's an asshole, like, that's a strong character. Well, no, actually, that's something that annoys people. Oh, you guys are rolling with that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, Daphne pretty much abuses most of the gang because and once again she suffers little to no consequences for this. Oh, and also they kill off Fred. Like Fred dies.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and it somehow it had more issues than the Wacky Races, the Flintstones, and Future Quest combined.
Wacky Races, 6 issues. Future Quest only had 12. Flintstones only 12. Dastardly and Muttley was a 6-issue mini. Rough and Red had only 6 issues. The Jetsons only had 6 issues, and it was written by Jimmy Palmiotti, who's really acclaimed as a writer in terms of.
Oh yes.
They put him on Jonah Hex.
Yeah, I saw that.
And somehow he lasted on that character for a decade.
That's crazy.
Like, that's how long that character was successful under his reign.
Yes, they also had Snagglepuss, which
6 issues.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, yes.
But Apocalypse, 36 issues.
Yes, we're dead serious. That's how long this kept going. And there were Future Quest sequels, because there was this thing called Future Quest Presents, and it basically had Space Ghost, Birdman, and other characters come back, but that's about it. So yeah, Scooby-Doo Apocalypse for some reason sold the most numbers, and it lasted the longest. Why? I don't know.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? You know, we started this podcast with the whole ideology of discussing, we're not going to go into too much with Scooby-Doo because obviously he's like the Batman. He's the one that sells irregardless of what they do.
Yeah.
And this is kind of proof of that because they did the Beyond line, and despite everything else, Scooby-Doo was the one that lasted the longest.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, and speaking of Hanna-Barbera, there is one more Hanna-Barbera thing to end up on. And this is one that's got me, I'm optimistic, but I'm kind of scared. Next year, we're going to have a theatrical Scooby-Doo animated film just called Scoob. Not Scooby-Doo, but Scoob. And it's not only going to feature Scooby in the game with new celebrity voice actors, except they did get Frank Welker to come back and play Scooby, but not Fred. Why? I don't know. And all the other Hanna-Barbera...
Fred, I mean...
Yeah, it's
Rich, if he's playing Fred, we can get a celebrity to market to kids who don't know who these celebrities are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys would be surprised on these celebrities that they got to play the game. And again...
Is Zac Efron in there?
Yeah, he's playing Fred.
It's going to be a hot Fred.
It is, yeah. But basically, this is going to be this is going to be the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe that we've all been waiting for, because basically
we've all been waiting for?
Apparently.
Asterisks.
Yeah, exactly. So the story of this is like, okay, Dick Dastardly is causing some bad things or something. He's being Dick Dastardly, but he's kind of on a Thanos level, and all of the Hanna-Barbera characters have to come together to try and stop him. And they're gonna here's one other character we didn't mention, but he's gonna be in here. They just cast Mark Wahlberg as the Blue Falcon.
That's another character who should have his own series by now. He's a superhero.
Yes, he's made so many appearances. He even got an animated film with Scooby-Doo, and it was awesome.
He's the one with the awesome cyborg dog.
Yes, he is. It's like, why? And we're getting to see him in a theatrical Scooby-Doo film with other Hanna-Barbera characters, and he's being played by Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, really?
You couldn't cast anybody with charisma. Well, then again, if I was casting, the moment the studio's like, you get to choose the cast, great, and I was just like, okay, so Rob Paulsen, I'm going to sign. I don't even know who I'll cast him as yet, but I'll sign Rob Paulsen. I'll sign Jim Cummings. I'll sign Jeff Bennett, Steve Blum, Charlie Adler. I'd sign those. I have no interest in celebrities.
No, me neither. Like, okay, maybe if it's because this is what I hate. Like, if it's a celebrity that has great depth and can accomplish exaggerated voice acting, then okay, I'll accept that. But if you're just getting these celebrities that are huge and recognizable, why? Like, I don't care for them. Like, they literally did not ask Matthew Lillard, who has been Shaggy for a decade now, ever since Casey Kasem passed. They did not ask him to come in and audition for Shaggy. They didn't even ask him to come play him.
Hell, and the thing is, this falls into like the Ron Perlman thing. Where they've talked where it's like, we're going to put Deathstroke in like the DC movies. Oh, is like Ron Perlman going to do like the voiceover for when he's in the suit? Why would we get that? Ron Perlman's actually a celeb, though. Like, yeah, he's a celeb who does voice acting. He's not a celeb that just happens to be cast as a voice actor.
No, exactly. Yes. And that's what I hate about this. I'm like, okay, Frank Welker, we're not going to have you play Fred, despite the fact that you've been playing him for 50 years now. We're going to just have you play Scooby-Doo. We're going to get Zac Efron to play him. I'm like, so you're telling me the greatest male voice actor of all time is not brought in to do both of the voices?
Rich, this goes back to the Transformer films where they got Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, and then in an interview, Bay off the cuff mentioned where he's like, well, we didn't want Megatron to sound like a cartoon character, and it's like Peter Cullen was in that cartoon.
Yes. Like, what the hell is the matter with you? Instead, no, who do you get? You get the guy from The Matrix, who he was good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, why? What did Frank Welker do to you? Do you hate him?
It's weird because then you get to like Kubo.
Yes.
And everybody sounds like and looks like G1.
Yes.
It's G1 Optimus with Peter Cullen. Soundwave sounds just like Soundwave with the modulated voice. Like Shockwave has that weird British David Warner accent that like Burton gave him back in like the G1 era. Still has that weird voice. And it's like, oh, now we get the things we want. After like 5 movies where we got dragged on our ass through like hot coal to get here. And it's weird because like we still live in this weird era where it's like we need to make something based off a product or a project, right?
Yes.
And like when the MLP movie came out, I was legit and I didn't like it. I hated the MLP animated film that came out. But my takeaway was, I can't believe all the voice actresses got to come and play the respected pony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't replace anybody. Yeah, you had stupid celebrities like hench pony who's probably never gonna fucking show up ever again, and a severe waste of Liev Schreiber as Storm King, who sounds great in that film,
Yes.
but has like no screen time.
No, and then you have also you you have who we were just talking about. You have the guy. You just have the guy from Ant-Man. We're just gonna call him that.
Michael Pena, yeah, as the henchman to the henchman.
Yeah, which is weird.
Oh, dude.
It is. So, yeah, I'm a little worried about this one. I don't know. I'm happy it's going to be animated, but I'm just not ready to hear Scooby-Doo and these other classic, iconic Hanna-Barbera characters with celebrity voices. Like that's going to kill it for me. Unless it's a good script, then fine. I'll get over it. But, for me,
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's not. So I am hoping that they can just have this be okay. If it's okay, fine, I'll take it. But if not, well, at least I can have the original voices in my head. So it's a win for me.
I did want to wrap this up with something to show you.
Okay, sure.
Now, obviously, they've adapted a lot of these characters for better or mostly for worse into live action.
Yes.
Yeah. You had the 2 cinematic Scooby-Doo live-action films, and then, the 3 or 4 direct-to-TV live-action Scooby-Doos.
Yeah.
You had 2 live-action Flintstones.
Yes.
And for the longest time, I've been hearing around the bush, we're going to do a live-action Jetsons at some point. Ugh.
Oh, I remember that.
Now, I found this commercial.
Okay.
This has to be the best live-action adaptation of a Hanna-Barbera property I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm just going to share that with you. But just let me know when you got that queued up, and we'll watch it in sync with each other.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And turn on the volume, because I don't want it to be too loud.
Yeah, I don't want to get copyrighted.
You got it all? Y'all set?
Getting it up. Hold on. YouTube, why must you do this to me? YouTube's having problem, folks. Hold on.
Doesn't it always?
I know. It is so sad.
Y'all set?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. And play.
Okay. Okay.
Apparently this is for Pugo.
Uh-huh.
But this is a car commercial.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm not crazy, right?
No, you're not. I'm looking at it right now.
The cavemen are
yes.
there.
The
mob.
The mob, yes.
Look at this. They throw the TNT, goes back in the car.
And then goes back, explodes.
It was like the Red Baron.
Yes. Then crash. He's dead.
He's a toon. He's fine. The gruesome twosome.
Oh, yes. I love the gruesome twosome. The soldiers and the caveman just beating up. Oh, there it is. There's Dick Dastardly. Oh, yes.
Penelope
of course, her car breaks down.
Man, she broke down that car.
Hey, Muttley. That was awesome.
That commercial.
This commercial
is better than any live action adaptation of a Hanna-Barbera property we've gotten.
Oh my god.
In an era where we've had Scooby-Doo and Yogi Bear and the Flintstones, this thing was unapologetically, unabashedly unashamed of what it was, and it had the wacky racers.
We live in a strange time.
we live in a sad time.
We do. We live in a strange and sad time.
You and I got in a conversation about this where it's like, Warner Brothers keeps trying to break into the video game circuit. And we had said, why hasn't there been like a Twisted Metal equivalent to like Wacky Racers or like a Mario Kart equivalent of like the Wacky Racers? And it's like, that's a good question. And there's no explanation. Like, We live in an era where Sonic the Hedgehog has a racing kart game. A character whose whole gimmick is he runs fast has a racing game, but he's in a car, which would make him actually slower.
Fix this shit.
Like the Wacky Racers. Yeah, I'm not saying it would be a perfect movie. Hell, I'm not saying it'd be an ideal movie. But like, my God, could it be clever?
It could. It really could. Like, I don't care. I would love to see a Wacky Races fan film, a live action, just anything with the Wacky Races. So,
I thought they had a cartoon like 06, but I think it got canceled like immediately.
Oh, yeah, they did. The Wacky Races had a cartoon, another cartoon by Boomerang, but then it got canceled because they didn't advertise it. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, guys, this was fun. This was fun. It was fun going through all of these Hanna Barbera characters and really just, you know, showing everybody that there's more to there has been more to the Hanna Barbera lineup than just Scooby Doo, and I feel like Warner Brothers continuously over the years keeps pushing down all of their other iconic Hanna Barbera characters in favor of making more Scooby Doo stuff.
Well, it's
and
the
I
same,
feel like
it's the same Batman.
It is. It's the same with Batman.
It's the same. It's the Batman problem because like they put so much of a like energy and effort on the Batman license that it's like they don't realize, you know, there's going to come a time where that license will get botched, like after Batman and Robin did, and there's going to be a point where it's like, wow, too bad you didn't strengthen any of your other licenses.
I know. Yes.
To care, like, there's no reason why Wonder Woman should not be as popular as Batman as far as your properties go. Same thing with like Superman. And instead, then on the streaming service, look how weird this is. The Titans show is struggling, but then it's like people are exhilarated over Doom Patrol. People are ecstatic about a Swamp Thing show.
Yes, they're looking forward to a Stargirl show,
and it's gonna have the JSA.
Yes, exactly. What the hell?
like Jeff Johns is going to be building the DC cinematic universe in the streaming service world.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's very crazy. Let's get started on that Let's get started on a better Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. But, you know, hey, until then, we always have these characters, and I think it's very important for us to, if you're new to if you just know Scooby-Doo, we strongly urge you, please go check out some other great Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Like, you will not be disappointed. Yeah, they're dated, they're cheesy, but they're nostalgic and they're fun. You know, there's a reason why.
Well, so many of them work. Like, even if you just brought them up to today's standard, like Secret Squirrel, that's not going to be.
Yes.
That's never going to be dated because it's a secret agent. Secret agent is a trope that exists.
It is. It very much is.
He just happens to be a squirrel. Maybe update it so he's less, you know, hat and coat and more like James Bondish.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But,
it's weird.
Yeah, but thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully YouTube gets the view count right this time, and maybe one of these days we'll do these live, so that way, you know, if you guys want to, you can chat with us. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end it off right here. We'll be back for another episode, which we're both kind of excited about, but it's kind of gonna be a bit more diverse than these past two episodes have been, so we hope you look forward to that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. So, of course, as always, if you like what you see, then hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and please, I urge you, go over to ToonGrid if you need graphics design or if you need editors who can pretty much just give you anything, then please go subscribe and support ToonGrid. They really are great guys, so please go and help them out. So, until then, this is the Jedi Bender saying, be here, my friends.
And, you know, Nero always saying, be sure to tune in to ToonGrid.
Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.